Our next session is about Healthy Opportunities Pilots in North Carolina, a newer program that is quickly taking root. To begin, please welcome Daniel Costello, Chief Operating Officer of Duke Connected Care.
Come on up, Henry. Thank you, everybody, for having us here. And it's a real pleasure to be together. Yummy lunch, really great lunch. Several years ago, many of you in Eastern and Western North Carolina implemented a program called Healthy Opportunity Pilots, or HOPS. And it worked. The intent of the program was to support local communities working together, cross-sector partnerships, school systems, juvenile justice systems, healthcare systems, and others, to provide support to our neighbors. Housing, transportation, counseling for interpersonal violence, and food security. It worked so well that several months ago, CMS and North Carolina decided to implement the program statewide. So, as Governor Stein mentioned, we're in an interesting phase here of trying to keep an eye out for how the federal government in North Carolina will exactly expand this implementation. But I wanted to share some time with you today to talk a little bit more about what HOPS is, how it works, its results to date, and how working across partnerships we can build a better North Carolina. And in addition, as a Chapel Hill fan who works at Duke Health, I was also going to share with you what's going to happen next weekend when UNC plays Duke. So, you know, in short, for those of you that are perhaps a little more familiar with HOPS, what it is a way for community-based organizations, like many of you, to be directly reimbursed for providing food, whether it's growing, preparing, supplying, or delivering food to Medicaid beneficiaries. So what the program tries to do, where the strength of the program in Eastern and Western North Carolina has been in working across systems of care as a broader community towards better service and support for beneficiaries residing nearby. And simply, it's a way of health systems and others identifying and screening food insecurity. And there's no wrong door, so many others can do this, including yourselves. And then connecting that family, that child, the Medicaid beneficiary, to community assets who then arrange for and deliver and help address and connect that family or that child to longer-term support. From a healthcare perspective, this is really good for the populations we serve. We see higher adherence or higher connectivity to preventive wellness care, right? We see many fewer readmissions for our community. Many of you commented earlier today, we see greater scholastic achievement. We prepare the next generation for, contributing to a vibrant economy. All these secondary, tertiary benefits that we all will enjoy in the Commonwealth here as the program spreads. So maybe for us, what are the key objectives for us? And then I'll hand it over to Henry. Two things, two big objectives. Lynn and Cynthia commented about this earlier before lunch, and it's a theme today. Being rooted in the community. We know, we've seen with you in Eastern and Western Carolina when we're doing this work, We're connecting the roots in our community to help children, help families grow and be healthy, or be, having a great life, right? So partnerships and strong connections across the community. That's our first goal in getting this implemented here in the Triangle. And then second, for us, we see that increased capacity for you, for us, results in better health for our community. And then it also results in better outcomes in other areas too. So with that, Henry, I'll invite you to come forward and talk about the work you're doing.
Please welcome Henry Cruz, co-founder of the Green Rural Redevelopment Organization, or GROW.
Good afternoon, everyone. GROW is now GROW Institute. We serve 11 counties in eastern North Carolina, rural county, 11 rural counties. I would be remiss if I didn't, because I think because we're talking about going statewide with HOPS, it's really important for all of you to know what to expect and what to do, because we started in 2021, and Duke Health, a fellow named Fred Johnson, came to Vance County, one of the counties that we serve, to introduce us to what HOPS was going to be. And at that particular time, we've been working for a year from 21 on, thinking that Duke was going to be one of the lead organizations. And so they did a lot of really preparatory stuff in terms of organizing community-based organizations. And it was unique that a part of HOPS is that you had to have a rural mix and an urban mix. And so we were 5 counties at that time of rural counties, and it was going to be Durham and Wake that was going to be the urban counties, and that was going to be the 7-county program. And since then we've expanded, but that was the beginning of it. And I say that because in the preparation, it was so important that community organization, and this is what we're all about today, took place. And the unfortunate thing, we can go to the next slide. The unfortunate thing was that that the state hadn't prepared the 3 lead organizations that got it to how to work with and transition people, community-based organization, into this new program where you're now going to be billables, that you're going to be able to generate income, food as it relates to through a billable system, meaning that all of the insurance companies were going to pay you to deliver food or make food available to them. And that's going to be the case now. And so people with food banks and people that had food pantries were they've been doing food all the time. And so they felt that we do 200 some people a week or a month, and we could very easily. Now, the unique thing about the HOPS program, I think is very important for all the community-based organizations to understand, is called capacity money. That this is one of the only federal programs that allow you to get capacity money up front. You just have to apply for it. So one, to be chosen as a community organization. The second is to get capacity money, because if you need to know what you're planning on doing to know what to ask for. And unfortunately enough, community-based organizations nor the lead organization didn't really prepare us for this. The unique thing about what Duke Health was doing that. And so that was important to give you a history of it. And because of that, we came in and I commissioned a study to determine what we would do in the 11 counties that we serve, how we would handle food, and how we could now fit into this Healthy Opportunity Pilot Program. And one of the things we thought about real quick was that medically tailored meals, That's what the hospitals and all the doctor's office and everybody's going to be wanting, medically tailored meals. And these insurance companies probably are going to ask for that. And so in our capacity money, we asked for stuff like, for our kitchen or a hub. We wanted to have cooks and drivers and the equipment for the drivers and trucks and all the equipment for a restaurant, for a commercial kitchen. And surprisingly enough, we got funded to do that. But that was our vision, was that, and these are things you all going to have to do in the next 5 or 6 months, determine what you're going to do as it relates to food and how you're going to make it billable. And in doing that, one of the problems that took place when the Healthy Opportunity, we got the capacity money, which allowed us to buy vehicles and staff for 3 years. So this is in 2022. So for 3 years, we've had staff paid for and equipment paid for, which is unique. And this is something that you can do up front, because most community-based programs, trying to get federal programs, federal funds is very difficult, or state funds, is that you have to have a capacity to handle those state funds. That means that if you want $100,000, you got to show that you can handle $100,000 or $200,000 or $300,000 or $1 million. And most community-based organizations are not in a position to do that, especially in the rural communities that we serve in. And so this is a time to think about where you want to go, how you want to do it. So what we end up doing, what the beautiful thing about the capacity money allowed us to exist for 2 years for staffing and everything. But what it didn't do was what our feasibility study said, that we were going to feed 2,500 people a day in our counties. So we went to Food Runner in Raleigh and Spicy Green Gourmet in Durham, because they were doing that kind of, they were feeding that many people. And so we wanted to replicate that in rural counties. And so they helped us set this up, and so did Blue Cross Blue Shield, to set up this program so that we could feed 2,000 people in our rural counties. Well, the problem was that's a medically tailored meals. It's real important that you understand that. But the hospitals and the insurance companies, PHPs, didn't really, when the clients came in and we got referrals, those referrals really weren't coming for medically tailored meals. They were asking for fresh vegetables and shelf-stable boxes, and those are things you could get funded with. It actually paid more than the medically tailored meals. Because that was the frustrating thing to us, because the state was only offering $7.60 per meal. And in some of our other programs, we were getting $10 a meal plus $20 to deliver them. So this was a really problem, but we had the capacity money to kind of give us, to make things happen out. So we made that work out. But the beautiful thing about that was that people started ordering the shelf-stable boxes and the fresh vegetable boxes, and that allowed us to develop a program in terms of delivering to those communities directly to those homes. It gave us some flexibility in terms of the food and monies and stuff we received. And what really happens when you all think about it, that the feasibility plan that you need to be looking at, and the possibility of working with your MC or managed care organizations, and these managed care organizations are now part of what is called a tailored care plan that the state brought in August, that's going to end up being the kind of things that you all are going to have to be working with. And so I think it's important to understand how a community-based organization grows up, and you have the opportunity to think now, I think 4 or 5 months before this thing goes into place, to think about what you want to do, how you would do it, and what it's going to take to do it. Because capacity money is really the key to making this thing work. Because you're going to have that money up front to operate with, be it for staff or whatever it is. One of the problems we had, the solutions we had to deal with, was coming up with how do we how do we now transport food to individuals' homes in all these, of the 11 counties, we only had 4 counties that were HOPS counties. We had to pick those 4 counties because the rest of the counties were not HOPS eligible. And so we are looking forward to this new statewide plan, because now we got 7 counties that we can now really get involved in. But we have a plan. And we have a plan that's worked for 3 years, and I'm saying to you now that this is the time, the unique thing that we've been talking about, the thing that Duke Health did, that we need to be being a part of the 7 Cs program, or being involved, thinking about how you can impact your community as it relates to food, because those opportunities don't really come around that much as it relates to small organizations, small community-based organizations. So I asked that I really wanted you to know how that works, and that was really important, because whoever the lead organization they're going to pick, there'll probably be 3 more in the state that's going to be the balance of state, that they need, that as a group, we need to make sure that they tell you how they're going to administer the program and what you need to do. Because when they send out an RFP, request for a proposal, if all you say is that we do food and you apply, you may get it. But if you don't apply for that capacity money, you're going to be out there in the cold trying to run a program with no money. We've been fortunate enough, because of the way we've done organized, that transportation has been a big problem, especially in these small towns, small rural counties. And we had to come up with a system. It's called Rotific. It's what one of my staff came up with. I mean, they didn't come up with it, it's a routing program that we had to bring in a whole team to look at how you do it. Because one of the big problems you have is that the insurance company will pay you. You want to know that they're going to pay you, but you have to deliver the food. You have to then send in your request for payment for that individual, and hopefully that you'll get back in time. So capacity money, keep using that word capacity money. If you don't have it, you're stuck again trying to deliver a service that you probably won't be able to do. And it's really important that you understand transportation and delivery. What we end up doing is kind of controlling our own destiny, in that we do most of the stuff in-house, preparing the meal, buying the food, preparing the food, and delivering the food. But the other thing, we had long-range contracts with our MOUs with our suppliers for fresh vegetables or for the frozen meals, so that we could maintain our, we knew what our cost was, so we could determine what it was, if we were going to generate any kind of income for that, which is the whole idea of being sustainable. You want to be able to now generate income. And that was unique. I got to go back real quick. That was a unique thing about Food Runner, and Food Runner is in Raleigh, that attracted me to them, because they were generating like $2 million a year about four years ago, just from selling food. And I said, well, we could do that. And $2 million a year, they didn't have to go after grants. So that was the idea that I thought that we could do in the rural counties that they were doing in Wake County to make it work. That we really wanted to be self-sustaining. We wanted to be able to generate our own income and not depend totally on grants. Well, this was the solution that ended up being a real solution for us, and that was to be able to generate income. And so this whole department, we've set up a HOPS department. We do food pantries, but we also have the HOPS program that generates income from. And now, at this point, we are now sustainable, and it's paying for all the salaries and all of the trucks and all the other stuff from 4 counties. And I look forward to seeing what's going to happen when we move into 7 other counties, and what you all can do when this program comes available. And any way that we can be a help to you, you can always call GROW, a Green Rural Redevelopment, and we'll be glad to help in any way to talk about how we went through this whole process. And I thank you all for